Hi, I'm Stacy, and you're listening to the Find Yourself After 40 podcast. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Find Yourself After 40. I am here tonight to introduce a new project that I'm working on. Super excited about it. And I have a special guest with me. As my focus for 2025, my two words were collaboration and community. And one of the things I really wanted to do was bring together some fearless women over 40 and share their inspiring stories of reinvention and transformation. And so I have with me tonight to kick off my 40 and Fearless series, one of the most badass women I know who is absolutely 40 and fearless, among fabulous and other things as well, is Jessica Johnston. Jessica and I actually go way back. She is my cousin, and we have reconnected. Our paths have reconnected recently because we're both trying to live our best life over 40. And I think that she's going to share more of her story. But before I get her on here and tell you why she is the perfect person to kick off the 40 and Fearless series of spotlights that I would like to do, let me tell you a little bit about Jessica. And I'm going to cheat. I am going to read. Jessica holds a BS in business administration and brings over 15 years of experience in the spa and wellness industry. Her personal battle with cancer has fueled her passion for helping others integrate wellness into their life's challenges. Jess is dedicated to providing compassionate care and recognizing the unique paths to healing each individual takes. She advocates for the transformative power of simple daily habits, such as mindfulness, self-care, and enhancing overall well-being. Through her podcast, Together We Battle, she empowers and listens with practical advice and emotional support to foster resilience and promote healing, making Jess a beacon of hope in the wellness community. And Jess, I am so excited to have you here. That is just a drop in the bucket to what you are doing. But I'm going to go ahead and get started. So when I came up with this idea to do 40 and Fearless Spotlights, you were the first person that came to mind. Jess is a warrior. She has, as her intro mentioned, faced a battle with cancer that I'm going to let her tell you a little bit about. But more than that, she has come out on the other end and is truly not only such a positive person, but she is helping others on their journey as well. So Jess, welcome. And can you tell me a little bit about why you're fearless over 40? What happened? Tell us a little bit about your journey.
Absolutely. Thank you, Stacy. I'm so happy to be here with all of your viewers and listeners. So thank you all for listening in tonight. And I am I just have to say, super proud of you because you are opening up a world and conversation that people need to hear. And that is so important in creating a community where people feel safe and they have fun and they can help each other is one of my main focuses as well.
Yeah, so, thank you so much.
I'm very excited to be here. So I guess you would say I'm fearless in my 40s because at the last few years of my 30s, I was diagnosed with lymphoma, and I went through 6 rounds of chemo treatment, did all the things, lost all my hair, lost my eyebrows, eyelashes.
Oh.
One of the things that I realized very quickly was it was more about the anxiety of the unknown that really takes people and messes with their mindset and takes you down a really dark hole very quickly if you're not careful with it. Yeah. So it was more about the anticipation of losing the hair.
And at this point, you were only what, 30?
I had just turned 37.
Okay.
And I had been in the spa industry for 10 years. And I have always been very active. I was a cheerleader. I was in gymnastics. I trained karate with my dad, which many people don't know. But I was always very active, very conscious about, making healthier choices anytime I could. Of course, going through your teens, you can get off track, and in college you can get off track. But nonetheless, I learned a lot being in the spa industry, even down to the toothpaste you use and the products you wash your face with and the nail polish you use. All of those things, carry a chemical component that can hurt your skin or, cause disruption in hormones and all those types of things. So I had learned a ton from the people in the spa industry. I did the absolute best that I could to take the best care of myself. I was full-time working mama with two littles.
Wow.
The boys were 7 and 10 at the time I got my diagnosis.
Wow.
And it was one of those scenarios where you're kind of like, holy crap.
Right. Right.
Like,
what do I do now?
How is this a thing? I've been so cautious. I've been so careful. I try really hard to take care of myself, but you never know, right? You never know what you're going to encounter.
So not to interrupt, but because you had so carefully been taking care of yourself, making the right nutritional choices before your diagnosis, did you fall into the why me? Did you fall into that mindset? Like, why did this happen to me? Why not to Joe Schmo who sits on the couch and eats potato chips, right? You were doing all the right things. I mean, how do you not fall into that, right?
Yes. Well, it did. It popped into my mind quickly, and then I very quickly, because I did have such a strong mindset for knowing that if I allowed myself to go down that spiral, I was going to be stuck in a hole and I wasn't going to make it through the way I wanted to make it through. End goal was to be healthy and alive for my kids and myself and my family, was to be alive. Literally was the goal, was to be alive.
At 37.
Yes. And I very quickly decided, okay, no, that's not the thing. So then I turned that idea, because I had been kind of trained into doing this, of it's not why me, it's what's the purpose? Why? Yes, why am I here? But more so that, what is the purpose in this season? What do I need to learn? And how am I going to use that later to help somebody else?
And I mean, you can just drop the mic right there, because that's exactly why I have you on 40 and Fearless. Because how many people, right, at 37 with two young children, 7 and 10, who get this diagnosis after taking such good care of themselves, can have that strength of mindset to say, what is the purpose and how am I going to come out on the other side of this and be able not to just thrive myself, but help other people? Mm-hmm. So I think right there, that just makes you such an incredible woman.
Well, thank you. The other thing I quickly realized is that all of the education and all of the things I was doing to better my health and well-being was actually a huge strength when it came to encountering a battle like that. Right? So I was already that much further ahead.
Because you had taken care of yourself.
Taking care of myself and the strength I needed to really, mind, body, soul, encounter that diagnosis. So when I lost 13 pounds, was literally skin and bones at the teeniest, tiniest I've ever been, the weakest I have ever been, days spent in bed, on end, sleeping, on the couch, just all of the things that you would deal with. It was like, thank God I had the education and the knowledge to do better ahead of time, so that when I encountered it, I could fight from more strength in an appropriate place.
So tell me how this battle in so many ways has transformed you and has actually led to a new path. One of the things that we're talking a lot about at Find Yourself After 40 is in your 40s, we have a tendency to want to reinvent ourselves. And you were in a position where you were almost forced to reinvent yourself. So how did this diagnosis and this journey end up to be transformative for you in terms of not only your health, but also in terms of your career?
Well, I would say everything kind of was like a rebirth for me in every sense of the word. Completely. I was literally my health and everything was as low as it's ever been. I was at my absolute lowest I've ever been in my life. I also still was working full time from home, remote, because I thought if I had other things to keep my mind occupied that were productive and still could associate with people because I wasn't allowed to leave the house, my doctor wanted me home, then that would help keep me from going down those spirals. So after that battle I went through, I did go back to work for a short time.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a whole different ball game. A whole different ball game. I didn't want to show up in that hustle and bustle and the gratitude you have for life after you go through something like I went through is just another level. I just don't have any patience for people being ungrateful and greedy. And it's like just enough to be thankful that you're alive and healthy in the day. And I don't mean to say that in a very cliche way, but it's when you've gone through it, it's a whole different level. So I rebuilt from ground up. I reconfigured nutrition. What does my sleep look like? How is my hydration? What books am I reading? Who am I surrounding myself with? Mm-hmm. Every piece of it got reinvented.
Wow.
And shortly after I went back to work, my husband got a new job, so our family relocated. So I was able to step out of, corporate world and be home. And it was not something I ever thought in my life I would ever do, was just be a mom and stay home, like people don't get enough credit for that. Because that in itself, and is a very demanding job in itself. And I was able to take 2.5 years and just breathe and just be so present and really re-engage with what's important to me when it came to what's next, especially when it comes to career.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I didn't want to take that lightly. I had an opportunity that was an absolute blessing, and I wanted to be so conscious of every choice I made to make sure that as I got through that and stepped out of it, I was doing something that was then going to be able to impact myself, my health, my well-being, my career, as well as my family's and those that I want to build in this community to help them get through something like that.
So let's fast forward a little bit. So you have gone through this diagnosis, you went through the battle, you had a little opportunity finally to breathe, to reconnect with your family. And then what happened?
I got a second diagnosis. If you knew that, I don't know. I was diagnosed with melanoma the second time. And I had, it was in my armpit, 6 lymph nodes. 2 of them out of 6 already had cancerous cells, and I had the melanoma taken off of my back.
I chose at all related to the lymphoma? Not at all.
Well, typically melanoma would come first. My oncologist tells me, you did everything backwards and very difficult. And he's like, you went through the hardest part the first time when you had your chemo. And I almost kind of wonder if it wasn't already deep in festering, and because of the chemo, it pushed it out. So then it became, I don't know. We really don't know. But I dealt with that about a year after we moved to Pittsburgh. And I chose no treatment. I didn't want to go through it. I don't want to deal with it. I just wanted to keep eyes on it, make good choices, and live my life. I don't want to only be known as a cancer patient. That's not what I am. That's only part of my story. That was the part of my story that really segued into how strong I actually am, to be prepared for the future. I don't know what I'm going to encounter in the future. I don't know what opportunities I'm going to have, but all I know is I've been through some hard stuff already. So if
Yeah.
I made it through that, I can handle whatever else comes my way.
Yeah, I mean, like when I introduced you and I said that you were one badass woman, like I truly was not joking. Like and I mean, I think that your story resonates with so many, whether they've had a diagnosis like you or not. But I think so many of us are fighting our own battles
Mhm.
that nobody else knows about, right?
Mhm.
And that kind of leads us into what ended up happening next, right?
Yes. Yep. So I decided that I was going to create, as you wanted to create a community where I can help anybody that's willing to listen. It really started out with if I can help one person, one person. And truly, that started back the first week after I got released from the hospital. I told my husband on the way home that I'm going to share everything on my social media, the good, the bad, the ugly, the indifferent, all the things, because if I can help somebody else, that makes me feel better.
Right.
So now I am working on expanding. So my focus for 2025 is expansion,
Okay.
is to open up and, like you've said, do more collaborations, build a
Mhm.
community where we have support and safety and we really help each other.
I love that so much.
I mean, everybody, like you said, it's everybody's dealing with a battle you know nothing about,
Right.
right? So I approach my day every single day like that. Even if people are so grumpy and I'm at the grocery store and they are just mad because you're in their way or whatever, I smile and say, "Hi, can I help you with something? I don't work there, but how can I make another person's life brighter?"
Well, I can attest to that. I had a, Jess and I text a lot because we're collaborating, and full transparency, she's helping me with some wellness and nutrition and all kinds of good stuff. And this morning I texted her and I was like, I'm done. I did my weekly weigh-in and it wasn't pretty. And right away she was like, no, you need to change your mindset. She was like, it's not about that.
Mhm.
It's not about a number on the scale. You need to reset your day. You need to restart your Friday. You need to do some deep breathing for 5 minutes and focus on what you're grateful for and be grateful to be here, that God gave you another day.
Mhm.
And that was so, so powerful. And I
Mhm.
did. I really did. And you know what? I had a great day. I had a super great day. I did. I really did. And and it's because of you. And I want my community of ladies over 40 who are fabulous that I'm trying to build. I want them to know you because you are going to be part of my story now as what I consider the wellness arm of my community. So we're going to be hearing from Jess a lot, and I'm super excited about that. And I am so excited, Jess, that you were my very first 40 and Fearless Spotlight. And I guess before we end today, um, what advice from somebody who has gone through one of the worst battles somebody could face and has come out on the other side, not only so positive, but helping others? What advice would you give to a woman in her 40s who is facing a battle, whether it's a relationship battle, financial trouble, a career struggle, whatever it is? What advice would you give to them to help them maintain their positivity and come out on the other side as you did?
I would say, you know, really it starts with being honest with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That's the biggest thing, is honesty with yourself, because unless you're really honest with where you are, the actions you need to take, and then putting the motion to the action, nothing changes if nothing changes.
Yes.
Right? So I heard that quote years ago and I was like, oh my gosh, that makes total sense. So if you're doing the same routine and the same habits every day and you're expecting a different result, it's a definition of insanity. You're just going to walk yourself in a circle. So really be honest with yourself. And the other thing, and I think women specifically struggle with, is asking for help.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Ask for help. You cannot take care of other people if you do not take care of yourself first.
Yes.
Right? And it is not selfish. We get so wrapped up in, it's selfish for mom to take 10 minutes for herself. It's selfish for me to work out. It's selfish for me to whatever it is. I want to go get my nails done. I want to go get a new outfit. I want to just go walk around the mall and see people, whatever,
Yeah.
It's dropping all of those things from the outside world and just focus on you, and come into these two communities that we're building and the community we're working together on, and just be unapologetically you. Just be you. You deserve to have a life you love and be happy in and live your best life. You get an opportunity every day to live your best life.
Jess, I think that's so awesome. I think all of your advice is awesome. And what's exciting me the most is that this isn't just a one-time thing, that we are going to have you at Find Yourself After 40. So you are going to be here with us, not only as my 40 and Fearless Spotlight, but also to share all of these amazing tips for wellness. Your approach to setting simple daily habits is just so appealing. And I feel like to my community of women over 40 who are so busy, we are juggling so many things. We are juggling careers. We are juggling kids. We are running back and forth to extracurricular activities. Some of us have parents who are getting older that need extra help. And we're pulled in so many directions. And I feel like anything that's complicated is just not going to happen. But your approach to just making one small change, you said to me today, what's your water intake like? And honestly, in all honesty, I said, I don't think it's my water intake. I think it's my wine intake. I think that's probably the bigger problem here. But in all seriousness, I think that our community is going to benefit from that so much, because you are able to offer simple strategies that we can implement that can make positive changes in our life, that we can see immediately. So I look forward to working with you. I look forward to sharing more of your tips with my community. And I thank you so very much for being my first brave, fearless over 40 spotlight.
Thank you.
If you are interested, and you should be, in listening to Jess even more and seeing her and following her on a regular basis, you can find her at the Together We Battle podcast on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. And also check her out at jessicajohnston.org. I look forward to inviting more 40 and fearless badass women right here at Find Yourself After 40. So for tonight, I'm going to say good night. Thank you for listening to the Find Yourself After 40 podcast. I'm your host, Stacey Creeley. If you like what you heard, please subscribe, like, and share. And remember to follow me on social media at Find Yourself After 40 and on my website, findyourselfafter40.com.